Elysium or kingdom come, New Jerusalem in the sky. You may think I'm dumb, but I don't want to go there when I die. It's not faith, belief, or fantasy, I just don't need eternal life. It's got nothing to do with God, the devil, prophets, or Jesus Christ. Just don't want to go to heaven when I die. If you can spare a second, please allow me to explain why, if heaven ever beckons, I think I'd like to abstain. Oh, I can't reckon pleasure without the pain, and if I got everything I want, what achievements left to gain? How can I perceive it anyway when what remains of my brain has shriveled up and died? Sure, there's mysteries that I'd really like to know, and maybe I'll solve them, or maybe I won't. I suppose I could upload my soul to some electronic abode, spend forever in the nether, another client node, find a place like Minecraft on creative mode, a space to occupy when I die. Descartes sure smart, his theories are so nonchalant, but what's left to dream once you become clairvoyant? So that's the goal, you free your soul, you get just everything you want. You may assume I'm quoting David Hume, but it's Immanuel Kant. Philosophies compete and eventually they'll reach détente. Right at that moment when you die. Now's where this song, it gets a bit complicated. Is there a heaven for bigots that's segregated, so the chosen don't have to be with those they've always hated? Or would their free wills be compromised, prejudices evaded? Some would say they were made that way when they were created. Guess they'll wait and find out when they die. And what if I die, my wife, she marries some other guy? Would that mean that my permanent paradise would include some dude and my lovely wife? That seems like quite an awkward afterlife. Cook on forever with someone I may not even like. I think I'd just rather die. Hades, maybe that's the place made for me, or stuck in limbo with the babies, or perhaps in purgatory while you exist in divine bliss and bask in the glory. I'll be drowning down the abyss of this song's allegory. That'd be fitting into my story. So it's a memory of me once I die. They say ashes to ashes and dust to dust. I suppose any other end would just be ludicrous, even though I don't wanna, and despite my disgust, if I end up in nirvana, God grant me the wisdom to adjust. Please forgive me for all these blasphemies, oh so very recently discussed. I must go to heaven when I die, but I just don't want to go to heaven when I die. Long time ago, I was much younger then, and I told some folks I don't want to go to heaven. But after thinking things through, maybe I do, so I can spend my eternal rest with all of my best friends. Now just to be clear, though I like you guys here, for everyone that I've known you, it's been 7 years. And though it's not your fault, I suppose that you'd be insulted if I tried to pet your fur or scratch behind your ears. And I suppose y'all know there's a place our dogs go when the time comes for them to cross the rainbow bridge, finally completely free of the leash, where there's lots of trees to pee, treats, frisbees, and balls being thrown. And although this concept, it makes me quite sad, resurrecting memories of long lost canine comrades. Think how happy they'll be when they finally see me, barking and wagging greetings, welcome back, Dad. And that's assuming that all dogs go to heaven. That's assuming that all dogs go to heaven. Imagine a field, every dog that you've known, consuming human food, chewing on perpetual bones. Seems heaven sent, 'cause there's no extra men to step in, like back when they lived at home. No cats in that heaven, no, it's just for dogs, so no scratched up cloud sofas, no gassy litter box. They can visit the place, so my pals can chase them while they're out on their infinite walks. In dog paradise, there's no lice, fleas, or ticks, just compelling smells and tasty places to lick. Surely no burrs, no knots in their fur, no sickness, no hurt, no shots of scary veterinary clinics. All dogs go to heaven, I guess I'll go up when I die if I can be a good boy. Avoid sin and corruption, seems like a fine place for me to spend eternity, and maybe God will even let me adopt a new pup then. That's assuming that all dogs go to heaven. That's assuming that all dogs go to heaven. Diamonds are 99.5% carbon. Compressed, man, they're just so tough. Me, I'm running about 18%, so I guess that makes me a diamond in the rough. When my water evaporates and my nitrogen dissipates, except for calcium and a few phosphates, what remains is mostly carbon. Graphite's 100% carbon, yet my pencil, it seems so brittle. Words I erase, they leave empty space and seem to mean so very little. Still those dark temporary marks, they start, then catch spark. Like charm strange and other quarks, they matter more than soulless carbon. Our economy's built on carbon, petroleum, coal, and plastics. Lacking global synergy, energy demands are inelastic. They say it's too late to debate, wipe the board or clear the slate. In irony, it seems our fate is to suffocate in our own carbon. Ever wonder why God chose carbon over silicon-based creatures? Probably 'cause he knew us humans would develop our own procedures. We'd take them glass at a large expense, make some artificial intelligence. One's chosen, one's lament the natural descent of carbon. When I die, guys, I wanna share my carbon with the earth, preferably by surprise, like spread out by a random firework. And am awake, for goodness sake, don't let your kids swing at the piñata, unless they're okay with being sprayed in a cloud of their great-grandpa. Whether you plant me with a tree or bury me at the beach, according to the laws of basic entropy, there's no place my carbon won't someday reach. Even though it's on an atomic scale, I know my destiny, to be bound to you, just a Dalton away, like in that diamond for eternity. That sounds like heaven to me. She has a cold streak, I can feel it from here, but she's just so magnetic. She's drawing me nearer and nearer. I fear her, rose up like a deer. In headlights I brace myself as she shifts her gears. That's when jagged and ragged I stand straight aside, mine nothing to lose, having nothing to hide, refusing to answer the question why. Is she all I see when I close my eyes? Often deluded but barely distracted by life, had a leisure in the way that she acted when confronted by violence. She often attacked it. I gave her my excuse, but she just smacked it. That's when jagged and ragged I stand straight aside, mine nothing to lose, having nothing to hide, refusing to answer the question of why. Is she all I see when I close my eyes? Tripped over something I can't really recall, 'cause my sheets are thrown to the wind. My back's to the wall, I'm too high to fly, too grounded to fall. Uninspired and tired now, and I'm sick of it all. That's when jagged and ragged I stand straight aside, mine nothing to lose, having nothing to hide, refusing to answer the question of why. Is she all I see when I close my eyes? More time passes, the more her light bends, the stronger my glasses, I still see it had to end. Her appeal was real, but the image just pretend, and the way she made me feel, I can't go through that again. That's when jagged and ragged I stand straight aside, mine nothing to lose, having nothing to hide, refusing to answer the question of why. Is she all I see when I close my eyes? Everybody bitches, complains, and blames the government. When it's gone, they get pissed, insisted, explain where it went. Bullshit's never ending, politicians spending inefficiently. And it's too rife with parasites to fight an autoimmune disease. Is it apathy, ignorance, or divisive rhetoric? Maybe just cognitive dissonance that makes our country sick. You don't need facts if you just act with conviction, in breach of social contract to enrich your already rich friends. Recognizing lies disguised as free speech, that's just blowing snot, it's not the actual disease. Even after pox heal, there'll be scabs left to pick. I don't know how you feel, but this metaphor, it makes me sick. Corruption, greed, it's on TV in between ads for big pharma. Makes it hard for me to believe there's such thing as karma. Billionaires, you know, they don't care, they just do what they please. Of course, that's just a symptom, not the source of this disease. Just because you're wealthy don't mean you gotta be a broken prick. Your influence, it ain't healthy. It's making people like me sick. Apologize, I'm sorry guys, I'm not trying to be mean, but folks are really dying, denying reliable vaccines. It's another entendre for a song. What's wrong in our communities? We pretend we're strong while we march along to the tune of communicable disease. It's worse than plague, it's accursed politics. So it's no surprise we can't buy eggs, and even our chickens are sick. Liberal's just a conservative who watches a different channel, while the jackass hacks on Newsmax call us all rabid animals. Side effect of suspect elections is imperfect sovereignty. All subjects of the same parties who infected us with this disease. Oh, I wish they'd all just sail away on their partisan ships. They already failed us when they made this country sick. Pretty sure the only cure to the cancer in our nation is for society to mature, educate the next generations. You know, politics breeds hypocrites, so teach your kids to think critically. Literacy, the literal remedy to this systemic disease. No prescription, no solution, no treatment that can fix a court-corrupted constitution that's made our country sick. And it makes me sick.